All right, people. Now I got something in here for you today. A little something special. One of my first ones, my first interview. We're going to get Arvid Nelson. We're going to talk to him. We're going to get to the bottom of this Band of Crow. Okay? Fantastic looking book. I mean, look at this map. Can you see this map? I mean, it's embossed gold foil map made by one of the hottest in-demand map people in Europe. You could tell too, because that looks a little bit like Europe right there. But we're going to talk to him. Grab your coffee, sit down, watch along with me, okay? Let's go. So, hey everybody, we got Arvid with us today. The man, the myth, the legend. He's in studio. Well, he's not in studio, but he's here with us today. And of course, he is the fantastic author of The Band of Crow. Okay? Fantastic book. So, hey, thanks for being here, man. Stoked to have you.
Right.
You're,
I got something.
hell, all right. Yeah. Fantastic.
I mean,
oh, cool. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I paint. Those are all my little landscape studies, and I paint a ton of them. And then I went ahead and made all those frames for them like a retard. It took me forever to learn how to make those. Yeah.
cool. The little neodymium magnets. I don't want to stick this on a fridge just because my children will destroy it.
Well, I had this idea to in an art gallery take one of those old school refrigerator fronts, paint it like a turquoise blue or something, and then use it as an installation in the art gallery for the smaller paintings. But that was all pre-COVID, and then the lockdown happened, and then everybody went away, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, this sucks. You know what I mean?
Dude, I seem to remember it sucking.
Yeah, it was horrible. So, but I want to talk about you, your
Right.
creativity. I want to talk about the Band of Crow. How did you get started on this process?
Oh man, the Band of the Crow. Actually, I can tell you to the day. Remember it like it was yesterday. The Band of the Crow started in a Mexican restaurant in Times Square in 2005.
Wow, in 2005. So you've been carrying this story around for 20 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Now that's definitely something for people to know because the stories they just don't hit and then get made. They take 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to make.
Right. That's one of my favorite stories about that is Adrian Lynn, I think it's his name. He did this movie Jacob's Ladder, which is a really good
Okay.
movie. Really
Okay, yeah.
good. It started with he had a nightmare about being trapped on a subway. There's a great subway. Man, it's one of the Jacob's Ladder is a very scary movie. There's some really good, really terrifying scene on a subway where the main character, what's his name, Tim Robbins, he's trapped on a subway. At any rate,
Yeah.
this is what he said. He said that initial spark for an idea is not the story. You have to find the story later. So
Bro, that's the facts. And that's, that's kind of what we're talking about here is that creativity. And a lot of people who aren't in the know think that, oh, the first idea is the idea. No. You got to get that idea down, you got to refine it, and then like 10 ideas later, there's the real idea.
right, right. And the final idea is never as good as the idea in your head. You just have to sacrifice it. It's going to have deficiencies. It's not going to be perfect. And that's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Right, because as the creator, you see all sides of it
Right.
and how it comes together and the beauty of it. Now, the Band of the Crow, let me just say, fantastic, right? The presentation of it, the book, the artwork, the printing, it's all top notch. I was really stoked to get it. And I also wanted to show that, okay, this is what cinched it for me. I saw this thing right here and I was like, this is the map. Fantastic. You want to say anything about that? It's incredible.
Thank you. I worked with the person who made the map. Her name is Francesca Byrald. She lives in the Po River Valley in Italy. She's a sought after cartographer. Yeah, she's very, very cool. And I just sort of hit her up. I said,
that's wild.
Want to do a map? She said, sure. Here are my rates. Not only that, but I said, Francesca, this started as a novel before it was a comic. She said, great, send me the novel. I want to read it.
Wow.
Read a whole novel. She's like, yeah, send it to me. And not only did she say that, she actually did because she was like quoting back obscure little like passages or things that happened in the novel. So she said, I loved it. Let's go. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. We did
What?
another map. Yeah, we have another map coming. It won't be for much later, but there is a part two.
Bro, I love the maps. I love the map idea. The execution's fantastic. But even as a little kid, I would get lost in maps all the time. You know what I mean? I used to go to church and I wouldn't want to listen to the pastor. I'd want to sit there and like read through the maps and pretend like I was on a journey through the maps traveling.
No, totally. Like I was raised in my church. Our Bible had like a map of Judea and the Holy Land.
All of it, yeah.
Right. Totally. It's just like, oh, that's where the Moabites and the Canaanites lived or whatever. The Bible is, it's a great fantasy.
100%. Stacks of maps. And I definitely felt that through when I was reading your book, and I wanted to ask you about that. There's some very strong, Mary, Jesus kind of influences in there. What can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I am religious. Even if I weren't religious, I would still find religions fascinating. So religion is an important part of every story.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was raised in the Anglican communion, so which is very similar to Catholicism. So there's obviously a very strong sort of Catholic Anglican feeling to it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I definitely, that first scene when he's praying in the temple of the goddess, I don't want to give too much away, but it really resonated, and I was kind of like, oh wow, okay, where are we going with this? You know what I'm saying? And it creates more of a depth right off the bat.
Yeah, thanks. It's the idea isn't to proselytize for anyone. In my opinion, I think it's great. If someone wants to write an overtly and explicitly religious story about Jesus or Muhammad or Krishna or whatever, or Odin, I think that's great. But that's just not what interests me. I'm religious, but it causes problems too. Religion it has its ups and it has its downs. So for me, storytelling is just a way to okay, let's look at religion and like in a non-judgmental way that's not threatening. Let's just see if we can figure something out about it. Figure out what's good, figure out what's not so good.
Well, I think it's a genius way to kind of, it brings with it all of this attached mythology and lore that we've all grown up with, that's embedded in our societies. And so I think that from that perspective, it's a really smart way to start a story and bring with it and tap into all those other mythos and stories without having to tell them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Exactly.
so I thought that was
We're gonna thank you. Yeah, sorry, please.
No, I would say I thought that was fantastic. It was very brilliant, a really smart way to kind of launch it off and kind of set the scene without having to add like a whole nother, chapter.
Right. Yeah. I mean, world building. You got to be careful with world building, in my opinion. Like, whoa. Yeah. Yeah. So we try to be mindful of that, and respectful of the reader too. I personally, I don't think shotgunning a lot of exposition and world building up front is like. There are plenty of examples of people who get away with it. I can't get away with it, so I'm not going to try to do it.
Now, when did you find out that you were creative? That you had this desire to create and make this, like, not specifically this story, but you might have had stories before. Or when did the light bulb go on for you that like you're like, hey, I like doing this. This is something I want to do, and even if it's not full time or a hobby or whatever, but it was just this push inside of you.
One of the best things I ever did in my life, and I recommend this to everyone, is the Johnson O'Connor Institute.
Okay.
Johnson O'Connor Institute. This is like, don't worry, this is like not a cult. It's not a cult. Questions you have.
No, it's okay. I'm very familiar with cults.
Okay, good. Yeah, me too.
They make the best stories most of the time.
You really do. I know, right?
I'm serious. I'm not even kidding.
Right. All that. Right. Exactly. What they do is it is the theory behind Johnson O'Connor is it's about aptitudes. It's not an intelligence test. It tests what your aptitudes are. I took this test when I was 14 years old. They test a whole bunch of things. They test like clerical ability. They test musical ability, inductive reasoning, deductive reasoning. All of these. I mean, it's a very long test. It takes all day. And when you're done, they come out and they each test. There's like an explicit test for each one, and they pop your percentile for each one. Like, okay, you're very good at this. For instance, I didn't know this. I have a very good memory for design. They're like, we have never. It's the weirdest thing.
Wow. Okay.
I've never seen someone with as high a score for design memory as you. I was like, oh great, what's that useful for? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is great.
Bro, what if you scored high with the clerical and you're like, Okay, so I file things. That would suck.
No, that interesting thing. That's very good for computer programming. So you can actually make a lot of money with that. I was 10th percentile for clerical, which is terrible. They're like, do not do math, do not do hard sciences. Like that is going to be a disaster for you.
But were you passionate about it though, or did the aptitude just kind of find it, or did it tap into your passion where you're like, yes, I like this?
Yeah, well, when I'm sort of a, I'm a New England Yankee, so I got to be practical, but I got to be practical. So
Yeah,
be a career scientist or
very stoic.
yeah, right. So I'll be a doctor. I got to just button down and be serious. And when I got the test back, they said, look, you have a classic artist's profile. You're very high on creativity. You suck at everything else. You can't do math. You're very bad, with your logical reasoning skills. But you're very high on creativity. So, and it really resonated with me. It was kind of like that gif of the guy going, shh. You know that one, the guy with the mustache?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he's going.
Like
You're like, I don't want to be poor. I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
no, exactly. It's like that Judas Priest album, "Sad Wings of Destiny." So it's just
Yeah, right. Yeah.
it felt like
So
embracing.
so you find out that you have that aptitude, and then do you go? What do you get into storytelling, or was that the first thing that you were like, hey, I like this. I'm good at like character development. I like this. I like getting into my head and fantasy, or what happened? How'd that go?
You know what happened was I had always liked that stuff, but I just assumed everybody was like that. That
Ah,
everybody
yeah.
just naturally like that. Like, of course they like it. Who wouldn't like writing stories and things? But no, I mean, this is something I've discovered in comics also. There are a lot of artists out there who don't have great storytelling skills, which is
Yeah.
I will never forget. I will never forget 1999 at the San Diego Comic Book Convention. I was kind of nervous. It was just like, I'm just a writer. Like,
Okay.
okay, great. What does that do? But much to my surprise, there were all these amazing artists out there just like looking for writers. And I was like,
Wow.
wow.
And so is that like when the light bulb kind of went on, or was it, was that a turning point for you, the Comic Con, and were you linked up with an artist or? Okay.
Yeah, that summer I did a documentary. I went to it was just through nepotism. My father was on the board of a foundation. They were doing a documentary on the Paris Review, which is it's an English it's an English language literary magazine, primarily American literature, but based in Paris in the 90s.
Okay. Wow.
It's yeah, it's kind of famous. I think yeah, c'est très bien, monsieur. C'est très bien. Truman Capote. Who else? Allen Ginsberg got a start. Anyway, it's sort of this legendary literary magazine. So I was there. I'm not like a high art, fancy schmancy kind of guy. I was right out of college, so like there I was in Paris during this documentary. I was I was just like a production assistant, which is just like a fancy way of saying I carried the bags
Sure.
around. So, but I was in Paris. I'd never left the United. No, I had left the United States. I'd been to China once, but basically, I'd never been to Paris. I'd never been to Europe. I was there in Paris, and they would say, "Okay, we're going into this beautiful church or whatever to film, and you, Arvid, are going to stand here on the sidewalk with bags." Right. Okay, so I got to stand outside of all these beautiful buildings, on the
Wow.
street. Mhm. But that got
Wow.
my mind going, and that's how Rex Mundi, the first thing I ever wrote, that's how Rex Mundi got going. The story is set in Paris. That same summer, I met the artist I met the artist who became the primary, the first and the primary artist for.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how did you find how do you find your artists? They just come to you, and
I have
like
found,
I was going to hold this up. You mentioned the
yeah,
architecture, and I absolutely in love with this image.
yeah, isn't that beautiful?
That's a fantastic image.
Oren is the artist for this project. We've talked about this a lot. I think that world building can take many forms, and in our opinion, we explicitly did that image as a means of world building. I think you can tell a lot about the setting, the kind of world that you're in, just from seeing that building.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, as to how I find artists, I have never once had luck like putting out feelers on ArtStation or like Facebook, connecting writers with artists, whatever. People do have success. Maybe I'm just not lucky, but
No, no, I agree with you. I think they come to you when you're ready.
yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. every good thing that's happened to me is because like I went out somewhere and I actually did something right. Word of mouth. I know someone who knows someone who knows someone. So
Well, it's kind of like how we came together a little bit.
yes, absolutely. Right, absolutely.
And and we had a couple conversations, and we talked about some other stuff, some psychology and stuff like that, and had some really good conversations. I was like, hey, this guy's awesome. Let me go ahead and see. I mean, I haven't interviewed anybody or anything like that, and I snapped and started doing those videos or whatever. But I was like, let me see if I can't get him on, and we'll talk about creativity because you're an extremely creative person, and I love the fact that creativity expresses itself in many forms, and I really want to help to inspire other people. And you were very inspirational for me. I don't know if you know this, but I started talking to you uh, many months ago, and I'd ask you a few questions, and you helped me out and told me some of the answers for some equipment or something like that. It was like I think the air blower or something like that into the bag for the, to have the pack for the packaging or something. And
Yeah,
you were very kind.
right. Yeah,
You were
yeah.
extremely. I was like, and that stuck in my mind
Right.
all the way until today. And I was like, okay, well, this guy's a kind person. I want to find out more. And so then it kind of drew me to you, and I was like, oh wow, he's got the Band of the Crow. And then I was talking to Darren, and Darren Wagoneer. He was like, yo, check this guy out. Check Arvid out. He's awesome. Go, I was like, okay, well, let me look. And I saw it, and I was like, yeah, this looks awesome. I just saw the cover, and I was like, let me go back that. And so now I'm really stoked. And here you are. Now we're talking, and we've talked about some other things. And I was like, wow, this guy, we're on the same page with a lot of this stuff. And
Yeah.
so if you can talk briefly about maybe how things find you when you're ready for them.
Mm. Yeah. You know, it's always like you said. There has to be a coincidence of wants when you're looking for an artist. 100%. Um, it just so happened. I had been working with prior to Oren. Oren is the current artist. He's the co-creator of the comic now. But I had been working with another artist for 4 years prior to meeting him, and it was sad. We had a sort of a acrimonious falling out. It was very very sad.
And that happens.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's so sad. It's so sad. I had to part ways with the.
It's very unfortunate, but it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like it's not if but when it can just it have people are people and bands are like that too. Like making a comic is a lot like being in a rock band. I think.
Well, I have noticed that like the egos just go out of control.
That can happen. Yeah.
And people seem to lose sight of the baby that you're trying to raise and be successful, and that the whole reason for being is the book itself, and somehow these little slights end up becoming huge things, and it's unfortunate. It is, but sometimes that drama brings eyeballs too.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I don't know if you saw this. This is a perfect example. Jane's Addiction. They're like,
Okay, yeah.
they were doing a. I mean, they're I would say that their glory days are long behind them, but that's okay. Billy.
No, they still got great music. I mean,
right, exactly. And God bless them. You're as good as the best thing you've ever done. So
for sure.
Jane's Addiction. Yeah, right. Good for those guys. But they were this was like a year or two ago. They were at a concert. Like the guitarist and the singer, they just started like got like a fist fight on the stage. They were so.
I saw that. That was crazy. Yeah, they went all viral. Yeah. That was nuts.
Right. I'm just like I know. Like I'm uniquely qualified to empathize with you guys. Like oh, that is.
So, are you a musician as well? What kind of stuff do you do musically?
This is what happened to me in college. This is like prior to my epiphany in the Mexican restaurant in 2005. So back when I was in college in 1999, my roommate was just a prodigiously talented guitarist. And having gone to the Johnson O'Connor test, they said, look, you have a lot of musical aptitudes. This is crazy. I actually got a perfect score on the rhythm test.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, like great. Like why can't it be for math or for like
well, it's like you got these S tier like strengths, and you're like, okay, what am I gonna use these for?
right. Great. rhythm.
So, did you play guitar or anything, a piano or anything like that, or drums?
Sing, yeah.
Maybe.
The maracas. Yeah. I'm a dancer. I'm an interpretive dancer. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And I sing. I sing.
Okay.
I'd taken voice lessons all in high school. And it felt like, now I'm a wiser and a sadder man now, but sort of like with women, you think, oh my God, she's the one, but like, maybe she doesn't feel that way, Mr. Guy. Like, slow down there, Tex, slow down.
Oh yeah. Our assumptions are the bane of our judgment, are they not?
Totally.
And to assume someone has a similar point of view as you just because you guys are like, oh, a relationship means this, or whatever. It just it bites you in the ass.
Right. I learned that the hard way. I have learned that, but I definitely learned that the hard way. So that's sort of what happened with the guitarist. I think I was more excited about like striking out and forming a band with the guitarist than the guitarist was with me. So that all came to a sort of an undignified and unceremonious. And he just sort of said, "Look, Arvid, buzz off. I'm sorry." I mean, he was I don't know.
Nice about it, sure, yeah.
He was, I don't know. Actually, he actually wasn't particularly nice about it. But
Yeah, he's like, fuck off, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. Or just started
lose my number.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. It was like, yeah. So there I was, sort of feeling guilted, and I fell in with the new group people, and one of them was willing to comics. And he said,
"Oh wow,
hey,
okay."
Listen. Yeah, he said, "Hey, listen, we could. This is our last semester of college. We could form a student organization. We could get the college to we
fund it.
The college's equipment, right? And they could pay for the printing." And we were kind of like,
"That's genius."
Yeah.
And so was that your first foyer into it? And you did the writing and
yeah. So I wrote it. Again, it was amazing. I said like, well, but I'm not really an artist. Bill said, I'll draw it. I'll draw your story.
Wow. So were you guys talking and he's like, and you're like, bro, I got a story. I got a story for you. You're like little Christopher Walken. Hey, I got a story, And he's like, okay, yeah, let's do this. And what were you studying in college?
Creative writing.
Okay, so it was right up your alley. Perfect.
Yeah. If I could go back, I think I would have studied. But yeah, creative writing.
Okay. So if you could go back, what would you have studied?
Probably religion and psychology.
Oh, okay. And then maybe still use those to write with?
Yeah, I just like the way you learn writing in college. I'm just not a big fan of it. It's called the workshop method.
Yeah.
I had some great professors. I got great advice from them. But what you do is you all write something during a week, and you come in, and every other student in the class like offers their comments on the writing. And like, not everyone's writing is worth the time.
Yeah.
Not everyone's comments are worth your writing. So it's like.
That sounds terrible.
Right. So it's just like, I don't forget, there was this guy, Jisoo. He was another creative writer. He was such a good writer. Man, he was so good. But you know what? Everyone was like, I don't get it. This is stupid. So I was like his defender. I was like, you leave Jisoo alone. He's a genius.
Now, you bring up a very good point. Is the palate of the audience dictates the refinement of the story or artwork that actually gets marketed, or the commercial value, which is very disappointing because it's quite often a watered down version of what it could really be.
100%. I saw Marco Pierre White. He's a very famous chef, 3 Michelin star chef. He's famous for demanding to be removed from the Michelin guide, which is like very
unheard of. Yeah.
Balls, because like getting 3 Michelin stars is extremely difficult. But that's just him. He's totally based. He just doesn't care about anything. Talk about base. That guy does not. Number of F's given is 0 with that guy. But he's not like a vicious or like a, I don't know. He's a nice person too. So he was being interviewed for a documentary about the Michelin system. The guy making the documentary was also critical of it. But what I'll never forget what he said about Marco Pierre White. What he said is, he's like, look, if you're going to become a professional chef, you just have to understand this. The people that are going to be judging you are not going to care about food as much as you, and they're not going to understand as much about you. Just get used to that. That is 100% how it's going to be. And I thought that was really wise and valuable. So yeah.
Oh no, you're 100% right. Because I remember I was studying with a master, and he told me uh, if you sell out for the money, you'll never make a great masterpiece. He said,
Yeah.
always
Yep.
pursue the masterpiece. You'll have enough money until you achieve that status, and then you'll be okay.
Right. Yeah. Indeed. Indeed. Who's there's a guy. He's one of the pre-Raphaelites. What his name was, but he started doing. He's a great painter, but he started doing commercial art. He started. They're still famous to this day in England, anyways. They're illustrations for Pear's soap, which is like a very English brand of soap. They're really nice advertising images, but it's not great art.
Yeah, right.
Great art.
Very commercial. It's a lot like how the Beatles, when they first hit the scene, they had that like one or two, three or four chord progression or whatever it was. Very simplified music to saturate then they got more and more complex as they went on to their later albums.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Millet. What's his name? Millet. If you care, he is an awesome. Yeah, John Everett Millet is his name. Yeah. He's a great painter, and it's just people say, it's just too bad that he kind of. I guess that's what he wanted to do. I think the other side of that is, if someone wants to do commercial art, sell out, they're going to do it. So,
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of who was that one artist who he was an American artist, contemporary, Thomas Kincaid, and he painted a whole bunch of those paintings with the lights coming through the windows, and bro, he made like $100 million, and his brother was a marketing genius or whatever, and then he committed suicide, and you're just like, oh, what happened, bro? Yeah, yeah. You're like, what happened? Yeah, and yeah, right. And I remember he was the very first gallery to be franchised, like in every mall and here and there and all that kind of stuff. And then everybody was like, uh, he never reached his zenith. And he had produced fantastic artwork before that, but then he got very formulaic, and that's what people wanted from him, was that very formulaic. But when uh, you become great, or you pursue, it's not that you become great, it's that you pursue this passion to a point of expertise. You have to turn off your mind to the market, because if you follow the market, you'll always be behind. You'll never be avant-garde, you'll never be cutting edge, because that is your job. If they could tell you what they wanted, they'd already tell you. You know what I'm saying? It's your job to give them something that they didn't expect.
Right, exactly. It's people, right. He, that blows my mind about Thomas Kincaid. It's
Bro,
exactly
isn't
what
that
you're talking.
isn't that wild? It's wild.
It's so sad. It makes me sort of like him more. I don't know what else to say about it, but
Well, like he definitely came back in the second half, and when that happened, I do like him more. And that's bad to say. I remember listening to him on, like, the radio stations, and he would give away like paintings on certain radio stations and certain talk shows or whatever back in the late '90s or whatever it was. And I heard his name everywhere, and then he went away for a long time, and then I heard what happened to him, and I was, like shook up about it a little bit. And he was also kind of a joke of the art world, but at the same time, he executed his business model perfectly, with the help of his brother, um, which is kind of what we all want to do as artists. We all want to achieve some sort of commercial viability, and you know create a very nice product that can be appreciated. And
indeed.
when did you start to think, hey, I know you had an epiphany in the Mexican restaurant,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and then you carry this story for like 20 years. When did you start to be like, okay, when was the moment where you were like, I can make this and I can put it in people's hands? I can make a really good book and make that happen.
Mhm. Yeah, I spent like 5 years just doing quote unquote world building, and um, I've been going through a lot of changes in my life, but just it was like I blinked and opened my eyes, and 5 years had gone by. I
Yeah.
realized, oh my god,
Yeah.
I got to get started on this. I was scared. I was scared to start. So I realized I just have to face my fear and actually start writing. Like I need to start writing it now. Like I can't wait anymore. Chapter one,
I
right? I'm starting in.
I really resonate with that fear. Were you afraid to put your idea out there and realize that maybe it wasn't a great idea? Is that what the fear was, or was it a fear like you couldn't physically achieve it, or elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, all of those things. I was afraid no one was going to like it. I was afraid I was going to fail. I was afraid I wasn't going to find an audience. I was afraid I wasn't able to even finish writing a novel because that felt very daunting.
Yeah.
I was afraid it wasn't going to be good enough. Yeah, I was afraid it was going to suck, basically.
And were you doing this on the side as a hobby? Was it like your baby that hell, you went to work as a security guard during the night and you got up in the morning and wrote? What did your kind of your day to day look like when you were trying to develop this?
I was finishing up. I mean, God bless. I have not had to have a day job since 2007 for a variety of reasons. I lived in New York City. I actually learned because of doing comics, I learned a lot about pre-press and graphic
Okay.
design and graphic software. So I had a job doing like pre-press and graphic design freelance in New York City. They were not glamorous or fun jobs. It'd be for like an educational publisher, like Macmillan, McGraw Hill, or something like that. But it's so funny. I can remember those audience. I can remember those offices so clearly, so clearly.
And so you had control of your own schedule.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And most importantly, I had been writing my own comic Rex Mundi. I've been working on that for 10 years. So I was finishing up Rex Mundi as I had the idea for this.
And did you put out Rex Mundi? I'm unaware.
I did. Yep, I did. We
Oh,
started at Image Comics. We moved over to Dark Horse. So
okay.
that's where it ended.
Because I'm gonna put all these links in the description below so people
Nice.
can go and like get it, get it, get it, get it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to collect all this information and pump it out there. So
Yeah.
you're developing the Band of Crow. The light bulb goes on. When you're like, I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna independent. When did you decide to do independent?
It started as this is a little, you know, man. It started as a novel. I wrote it as a novel. Trying to get the novel published was probably the most psychologically moving experience of my entire life. I have still not recovered, and I don't think I ever will. It was just an extraordinarily discouraging and like humiliating.
Just rejection after rejection after rejection.
Part of the problem is this gets a little political, but there is a really hateful ideology that has taken over. It's especially bad in the book publishing industry. I didn't realize it at the time, and it's not like people tell you that they are
No, they don't tell you.
right. So I was blaming myself. This. Oh, okay, this must be me. Everyone seems a little weird though. Everything seemed like off and weird in the publishing, and like it's bewildering because you're like, I guess it's just me. I seem to be the only one who has a
Out of sync. You're the only one out of sync, and everybody else, for some reason, they understand these
right.
unwritten rules.
Yeah, right, right. It's just everything was just like really like weird and gross and just
What to say, what not to say, what to wear, what not to wear, where to eat. All of this behavioral stuff.
yeah. Exactly, exactly. So I blame myself for it. I just need to have a good attitude. I'll just double down. I'll work harder, and I'll just have a good attitude. But that's not always the solution. I mean, it's not,
It's never the solution.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Indeed, sometimes having a good attitude means having a bad attitude. So, I quit. Forget it. No.
Exactly, exactly. You have to maintain those standards sometimes and break off in order to regroup and then go in a different direction. Sometimes being on that copium of life support, of
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
hope, keeps you worn down. And if it doesn't work, you got to regroup and find the answer.
Right. That was me. I kept doubling down on the stuff. I thought, oh, okay, I just have to get on board with this stuff. And
I've been there. Me too,
yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
100%, 100%.
And the more you get on board, the worse it gets. It's just like, okay.
Oh, and the more you have to contort yourself, and then it all of a sudden becomes like, is this the box I wanted to be in? Is this the ladder that I climbed to get on top of the building? Am I on the right building even?
Yeah, right. Exactly. 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 So it all came to a head. I'll never forget it was in 2016. It was um, right before the election. This was October 2016. I was taking television writing workshop. Like, oh, maybe I'll turn this into, okay, the novel isn't working out. Maybe I'll turn it into a television pilot or something like that.
Yeah.
So I went to this television writing workshop in Vermont. And I think it was Dorset, Vermont, which is I mean, oh, Vermont might be the most beautiful state in the union. Vermont is just, it's stunning. It's spectacular. It just so happens that there was this big TV festival there. All the big TV executives were there in this like ski resort. So obviously it's before ski season, so the ski resorts is like it's it's beautiful. It's fall in Vermont. It's be more beautiful than that. And my mom happened to live just like 45 minutes away, so I was like, okay, I'll just like go up to the Vermont cabin and just like go to this TV right.
Bada boom, bada bing. I'm there. Boom.
Right. And again, everyone at the works was just like so weird, like gross. Now I understand what's going on better. I will never forget this. This was a real aha moment for me. I had sort of made friends with another writer there. He was cool. He did like action movies. He had written a movie like Rampage Jackson. I don't know if that is.
Oh no, I love Jackson. I watched the A-Team. I followed him through jujitsu. Hell yeah, he's the man.
Yeah. So he wrote a movie. He wrote a script for a movie that that Rampage Jackson was in. He was like a cool guy. So we kind of, I wouldn't say we became friends, but like I just started like talking with him. And the keynote speaker was the senior vice president of diversity for HBO.
Okay.
This is the very last day of the conference. And I'll never forget this. She said, yeah, and this is unbelievable. This is the most wonderful thing that we've ever accomplished at HBO, or, worse to that effect. We had a production and there wasn't a single white man involved in the entire production, either behind the camera or in front of it. There were no white men.
And she said that.
And she said that as if it was the greatest thing. And he turned to me and said, pardon my French, I guess we're effed.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Right. Yeah. We just both burst into laughter. Something just like broke that day. I don't know what it was, like the dam burst, whatever cliche you want to use. I just realized, okay, whoa, wait a minute. No, that's not me, that's you.
Yeah, that's not me.
Thing to say. Right, yeah. So, so that was the day that I stopped blaming myself so much. So like, wait a minute, maybe it's not me. Maybe it's them. Maybe I don't have the problem. And the more and more I look back on the experience I'd had, either at that TV writing conference or with the experience with the novel, the more I realized, wait a minute, whoa. It was a powerful moment. It was a powerful moment of epiphany.
Yeah, that's huge because it like propelled you in this different direction for you to create the Band of the Crow.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I happened to be working with another artist. We were working on this like ill-fated, like mobile game, like game for mobile app, like mobile game app, whatever. That came to an end, and I was just like, hey, let's do a comic together.
Yeah. And then that idea led to another idea, and then you shed him as an artist and found the artist that you have now, Oren, who's fantastic. And so tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, Oren is like,
how's it been with your relationship? Because you do everything virtually, right? I mean, he's in Europe, if I'm right.
He lives in Malaysia.
Oh yeah, Malaysia. Okay.
Which I could not have found on a map. Actually, prior to meeting his friend, but my joke is I could drill through the earth, directly through the center of the earth, and I would come up right next to the mulberry tree in his backyard. We are like literally on opposite, like,
opposites.
12 times, like exactly 12 hours ahead. It is like, it is crazy. Yeah. How did I meet him? Actually, it was his friend Zid. Again, I didn't find him on ArtStation. I didn't.
Yeah, it came to you.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. His friend Zid is also actually Zid did all the alternate covers for our campaign in October. So Zid is, I don't know if I'm going to send you some of those, by the way. You got another.
No. You already, bro, you hooked me up, dog.
Did I really?
I got, good. Yeah, I got some of them covers right here. I got some of them. Yeah, awesome covers.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's it. That is it. So
we got some right here.
Yeah. Oh man, Sid did such a great job.
Yeah, no, you knocked out of the park. As soon as I saw these, I was like, whoa, okay, wow. Like, check this one out. This one is incredible.
Yeah. Sid, man, he did an especially good. That might be my favorite of all of them.
And of course, I like all the extras in it with it too. I got the sticker right here.
Thank you.
It's gonna be on the board. I'm adding things to the board, but
excellent.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Gold embossed.
Yeah. Did that come out great? Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Those are super special too.
Oh, they're awesome.
Get,
Bro,
you're a VIP, right.
I love the feel. I just something about that's the tactile component to the visual. I love it. It's another reason why I do oil painting. But so you found Zid.
So Sid and I had worked on some for Legendary Entertainment. We had done some like MonsterVerse tie-ins. If there was like a Godzilla movie coming out or a Kong movie coming out, we did some like comic tie-ins for those. The first person I asked was Sid. I said, Sid, do you want to do the Band of the Crow? And he said, no. And I was sad, but he said, you know someone? Yeah. His name is Orin. He is like a legend in Malaysia. I'll give you his information if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it down in the description for sure because he deserves all of the shout out. I mean, just the vibrancy of the colors, the great drawings. Let's see if I can't find another really fun page. I don't really want to spoil anything to show too much, but yeah, there's awesome. One of the I don't know, one of the most fantastic pages for me was towards the end with that giant skull chandelier,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah. Right.
I was like,
Right.
bro, that's incredible.
That's what we wanted to, and like we sort of just put it out there, just like right. We wanted people to kind of go, "What?"
Well, that's what it did. I was like, what? I was like, there's gonna be giants. There's gonna be giants in here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's funny. I'm
Yeah.
working on the second novel now. Let me tell you,
No, it's badass, and also I love the architecture of the interiors. I'm a big interior guy. I love architecture, all the old world architecture. Love all of that stuff, and yeah, great stuff, great stuff.
Yeah. One of our inspirations was the pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. Um, Millet, that artist I mentioned, he was
Yeah.
part of it. Yeah. But they did a lot of interior design. Like I'm totally with you. Just studying like William Morris's interior design.
It's so important in the books, you know what I mean? And that's one of the things that a lot of people kind of either they get just a photograph and they do like a filter over it or whatever, but that kind of robs it all for me. I love the artistry of it, you know. And so you found your artist, and then you're like, hey, buddy, what's good? Can you work with me? How'd that go?
Yeah. So, well, like I was with Zid. I thought, right, Zid can't do it. All right, I'll check out. Friend, yeah, I'm sure he's great. And then I checked out his Instagram page. I was just like
Surprised, right? Because every time somebody says my friend can do it, you're like, nah. I mean, come on, bro, give me a break.
right. I was just, and then scrolling through, it's just like, is this for real?
You're like, is this guy available?
Yeah, right. Turns out he was. He was like in between. It was a happy coincidence. It was kismet. It was the will of Allah. You know, it was a beautiful thing. He was
Yeah.
ready to do it. We also found out, it was funny. It's sort of like, I don't know, kind of like being gay in the 1950s. We both have similar feelings about the political environment now, but we had to come out.
Okay, so kind of, yeah, I got you.
I don't know. It's sort of like, you like Jordan Peterson? Oh my God, I love Jordan Peterson. What are the odds? It's amazing.
Yeah, right.
It's amazing. So,
And then not only that, but to find somebody that can like work by themselves on their own schedule across the world and still deliver. I mean, you know, I don't have to tell you, but a lot of artists really the scheduling part, the production part, let me give you a deadline and I'll stick to it part is not one of their strong suits.
right. You know, Orrin and I have said this. I think we are both uniquely qualified, equipped to do this. We're both pretty high functioning when it comes to that. So yeah, I'm very fortunate on that.
Well, this proves it.
Yeah.
You know, the
Thank you.
proof's in the pudding right there.
Right.
So it's been good to work with him then.
The best. I am just a huge Orrin fan. You know, this would be nothing. I would have nothing. It would be nothing without him. He really made this into a reality. You know, the concrete and the abstract, the whole Hegel thing.
So was it just you two working on it then? Was there anybody else that kind of helped, or was it just you guys?
We have probably auditioned over 100 colorists and just can't find someone who could. I was so sad, Rebby. Man, we came very close. This wonderful young man in the Czech Republic, Andre. I'm still a big fan of his. I know Orrin is too, but it's hard. What we do is hard. It's like you said. I think it was intense.
Bro, it's not.
I'm. Oh.
Not only is it hard, but it's a balancing act. You know, somebody could be great at something, but it still doesn't balance with what you're trying to do. That doesn't take away from who they are. It just means
Exactly.
it just doesn't quite fit because it has to be a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of chili, a little bit of this. You can't come in with a big thing of sugar. It's just not going to work. But whereas maybe if you had a different project in a different direction, they'd be perfect for it. So it's I tell people it's like juggling, you know, and the more complex it is, the more balls you're trying to juggle, or axes, or whatever, knives. So like you said, it doesn't reflect on the quality of their work, but it does reflect on what you're trying to communicate, and that's very difficult. It's very precise too.
Yeah, exactly. I worked with one of the best comic book editors I ever worked with. He said this, and I think this is really, really true. True. Never expect something from an artist if you haven't already seen them do it. If it's not on the portfolio page, they can't do it. So
Yeah.
I have that's harsh, but I have found that to be very, very true. Very, very
I would completely agree with that. Don't bank on potential.
right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I'd carry that into the dating world too. Don't ba- Hey man, if she can't cook, she ain't learning to cook, dog. That's what's happening. Nah. If you're looking for somebody who could crush some spaghetti with like a homemade sauce from scratch and she can't do it, oh bro, she only warming up stuff. She only warming it up. That's all you getting.
Exactly. You'd be self-sufficient, right? Self-sufficient.
Yeah,
Need nothing from you. I'm
yeah, right.
self.
Right. If you ain't gonna build on an extension to the house, if it don't come with a porch, it ain't gonna have one.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So true. So true.
So you got this
So,
Band of the Crow, and I thought that it was really smart how you released the first part. What was your intention with that? Just to kind of get eyeballs on it, or I thought it was a brilliant way to do that.
thanks. Yeah, it was just we just wanted to do it for fun. I think we wanted to give some. I think crowdfunding is in a slump now. I mean, I don't think it's I I don't think it's improved. But there's a bottom somewhere, and we will find it eventually. But we are definitely in a depression in comics crowdfunding right now. Lauren and I, for whatever reason, I think there are multiple reasons, but Lauren and I wanted to do that campaign. It's sort of a proof of bona fide
Concept.
serious.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yes, we can do this. We can fulfill it. We can fulfill this. We can do this.
I mean, it's like what you just said. If it's not on the portfolio, don't expect me to do it. Hey guys, guess what? I did the book. I'm gonna deliver the real deal. So come on.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right. We just sort of wanted to give something back to the community, the crowdfunding community, the backers. They're the ones who make everything possible. So it was a massive loss leader for us. I mean, I hemorrhaged money on that campaign, but I just wanted to do it for fun more than anything else. So,
Well, do you think that that's why you got so many eyeballs on it?
yeah, it definitely helped. Boy,
So I
marketing.
understand what you're saying as far as like financially, but from the marketing
Yeah.
perspective, I think it paid off because I'm sitting here like, okay, well let me check this out.
Right. Right. Yeah. Boy, marketing and publicity are the most difficult thing. It's like you said, some people are just good at it, but it's people just because sort of like writing. Just because you're a great writer doesn't mean that you have artistic skill and vice versa. I think this is one of the problems of social media is that people that are good at promoting themselves, it's an amazing skill. I wish I had it. It doesn't always translate in my opinion. Sometimes it does. It doesn't translate into being a
Well, what's funny about that is, not everybody has all the gifts, right? If you got one of the gift, you probably suck at something else. And that's just how it is. So if you're going to be a good promoter, I don't know if you're going to be a good delivery guy or logistics guy. Most often you're not
exactly.
because those are juxtaposed skill sets. The discipline it takes to do logistics and deliver is what is going to stop you from being a good marketing person.
you know, and it's just that I know a guy. He has since disappeared. I will not name names, but it's so sad because I was just like, you are so good at marketing and promotion. You like it, but again, it's very sad. Disappeared.
Yeah, I found that I hear you, and it's really hard for especially right now. It seems like the best marketing is boobs, and so like
Oh yeah,
I like how you broke through, but no boobs. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people need to take notice of that.
yeah, yeah, 100%. It's like the dark side of the force. It's like yeah, you can, yeah, like you said, that works. That works. But I think it's a good short-term solution, but long-term, you are
Yeah.
actually there's a hard ceiling to your audience with that stuff.
100%. And it makes me think a lot about how they talk about, the difference when you're the different strategies for your company when you're at the different size, when you're a startup
Yeah.
versus the gazelle level versus the legacy level. And you have to actually switch strategies and basically tear down your structure and rebuild your company to go into that different layer. Because what worked for you as a bootstrap startup is going to destroy you in the middle, and what works for you in the middle will destroy you as a legacy.
Right. I know this is the most, I know this, I think this is especially true for restaurants, but it's true for all businesses. Growth is very, very dangerous. If you have a small, successful company, building it into it's a successful, medium-sized company,
Yeah.
extremely dangerous time period for a company.
Yeah.
This is like in the restaurant world, this is like a story as old as the hills. There's a little bistro that opens up.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
It's booming.
Wine,
Yeah.
right. So they expand it to be 5 times the size, and it shuts down in a year because they can't handle it. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it not only maybe they can't handle it, but it loses the significance, which was the draw in the first place.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I think that's what we're really trying to key in here on is genuine desire. From a creative perspective, we are creative because something inside of us had genuine desire to write that story or to draw that picture or to create something. How do we evoke that in other people? That's the real mystery. I really think you did a good job with it because
Right.
this kind of stuff right here, I was like, oh man, I can't pass that up. I got to get some of that. And bro, I'm serious. As corny as it sounds, as soon as I saw the map, I was like, I'm in.
Compliance, really. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's really hard to gauge a story when you haven't read it. And then I saw the artwork and I liked the artwork, but then I saw, okay, this guy's going above and beyond, and he's got me in mind as a backer, as a customer, and I want to go to a restaurant where they think about me as the customer first. I don't want to go to a restaurant where they tell me I'm stupid because I don't understand the food. I'm like, bro, I've eaten food for 40 years. I know how to. I'm an expert in food.
It's so funny. There's a very famous French chef, Joel Robuchon. He's famous for starting these the Robuchon ateliers.
Yeah,
It's exactly that. He's saying, look, we're going to demystify French food. It's going to be less fussy. It's going to be less formal, and it was a big hit for that reason. Yeah, in this documentary I was watching about 3-star Michelin restaurants, there's a famous food critic. He said, yes, this French restaurant has 3 Michelin stars. The food is excellent, but I would never ever go to eat there again in my Maryland.
yeah,
Because he doesn't like the environment. Yeah.
yeah. No, I completely agree. So are you a big foodie then? Or are you a chef or?
Yeah, it's funny. We're not a sports family. My father was into sports, but he was into food. So I was just like, we would watch, like, instead of watching like baseball, we'd watch cooking shows or whatever.
That's awesome. I'm huge into food.
I
I
know.
love food. I love cooking. I determined long ago. I think it was like maybe around 2015 or 14 or whatever. I said I want the Gordon Ramsay food on my plate
Yeah.
now, and so I'm not. There's no restaurants around me like that. I want to figure out how to cook all this stuff. So I got the all clad or whatever and started trying to learn how to buying the cookbooks, hitting the YouTube, and then I really got into cooking. And which is great because the more women I meet that they can't cook, I'm like, oh, hold on, let me.
Totally.
And then you know how it is. You go out to how many restaurants do you go out to and you're sitting there thinking I could have made this at home. It would have been better. It would have been cheaper. It wouldn't have been all this fuss. I would have had I could have made 2, 3 ribeyes for the cost of this one ribeye, and I cook a mean steak, bro.
Right. Nice. Oh man. I actually I worked. They had the comic. One of them actually killed himself. It's kind of grim. But there were these two. Um, they were servers at this restaurant called L'impero, which isn't around anymore, but it's this ultra shishi fancy Italian restaurant in New York City. And I helped them with their comic. They're like, hey, we'll take you out to L'impero as a way of saying thank you. I was just like, one of my like highlights of my life was just because it's in Tudor City, which is this beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks like the Band of Crow, actually. It's this like little section of Manhattan that looks like Elizabethan England. And you would not know L'impero is there unless it's one of those things. It's just like, if you know, if you know, you know. So
Sure, yeah.
It's just like a little door, you like go down the steps, and it's just fun. Some of
And the best restaurants are that way.
Right, exactly, exactly. There's a famous Mexican restaurant in London. It looks like a sex shop from the outside. What is it called? It's just like triple X, Eldo Books or whatever. You go inside. No, it's a Mexican restaurant.
That's awesome.
La Casita Negra or something like that. Yeah.
Bro, I love food. I love restaurants like that. I love experiences like that. I love it when the restaurant tour has you as the patron in mind, trying to give you a one of a kind experience.
Yes.
And
Yeah. 100%.
and that's kind of what I feel like you guys did with the Band of Crow.
Thank you.
And so
Thank you.
let me know when where you think you're going with the next book. Is the chapter going to be as long as these two chapters, or is it going to, like, tell me your game plan for the next issue?
Yep, we're going to do this album format. This is like the Franco-Belgian bande dessinée style. So we're going to be doing these albums. I like the slip cover. I've been writing comics for a long time. I just feel like for me, this is like how I want to tell stories. This is like an ideal way to tell comic stories. It'll be a very similar format. You'll have basically two chapters, and it will probably be about 60 pages. And the story will continue. There's going to be a point of view shift from chapter 1 to chapter 2. So that much I'll say, but it's hard to talk about like the actual story. Anything I say would be
Don't talk about it. I have so many questions, but I know I know it's on purpose. You wrote it that way on purpose, because I ended and I'm like, okay, well, what's this? What's this? What's that? What's going to happen here? What's going to happen? What's going on? But I know that's what you're going to answer with, so it'd be kind of lame for me to ask you all those questions now. Hey, bro, how about you just ruin your book for me? You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
Also,
No, but
we're gonna answer the right. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I'm stoked to get the second one and see what's going on, you know. And you really do feel that I don't know, creme de la creme kind of vibe, you know, the you feel the cultured kind of vibe. You do get that, and so to me that's very welcoming, because I've been in studying fine art for a long time, and I'm just kind of making my liaison in the comics, and I love seeing that also. And so I as a fellow compatriot, I second that. And I'm like, all right, this is nice. Okay, maybe I got a southern accent a little bit, but I like the words you laying down, bro.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
That's right.
Yeah. No, thank you. We try to make it an experience from the top to like a great restaurant. Like a great restaurant does that. It's the atmosphere of the restaurant too. There's this restaurant, what is it called? Alanea. It's this famous Grant Hackett's. He's famous. He's a totally out there, like, lunatic genius chef. And his restaurant, the way it's designed, the minute you step into it, you would just have this feeling of like something special.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
And like you said, it's not just that the restaurant is special, but like you are special.
Right.
Like,
right.
You are worthy of this. We want to feel people to feel like they're worthy of the Band of the Crow. Yeah.
Bro, I don't mind paying $200 for a steak if it's a once in a lifetime experience.
Right.
I don't mind at all. I'm excited about it, and I'll talk about it for the rest of my life. But if I come away and I'm like, made that at home, and the mashed potatoes and the asparagus, then I got a bad taste in my mouth. But if I'm like, yo, hey dog, have you been to the French Laundry though in San Francisco? I mean, have you been there? That's something that you crow about. You know what I mean?
100%. Actually, here's a Grant Achatz, whom I just mentioned. This is one of my favorite stories, and this like applies not just to the world of food, but also to the world of comics. He was like a sous chef, like an up and coming assistant chef for this guy Charlie Trotter, who's like a notorious. He's actually dead. He was a notorious Delta Bravo, but Grant Achatz just like he kind of quit. He said, "I'm leaving," and Charlie Trotter said, "If you leave, I'm going to ruin your reputation. You're not going to work in food again. I'm going to badmouth you to everyone else." It's just like blackmailing him and saying. And Grant Achatz, to his immense credit, said, "I don't care. I'm leaving. I don't care."
Yeah.
Got a job at the French Laundry immediately. So it wasn't true. Everyone knew that Charlie Trotter had a bad reputation.
Right.
So because he's a talented chef, he immediately got a job at, he's self-motivated, at the French Laundry.
Yeah.
Of all places. And this is like before the days of the internet. And so he like wandered into the French Laundry at like 2 PM or whatever. And there was like a guy sweeping the floor. And he said, "Hi, what's his name? Thomas Keller, I think is the name."
Yeah.
And he said, "Hi, is Chef Keller around?" And the guy sweeping the brooms just sort of like stopped sweeping and smiled at him and said,
"That's me.
I'm Thomas Keller." Exactly. He said, like, Wow, what a difference.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. And dude, I feel that. That's the experience that I feel like you bring. That's fantastic. Yeah. And so I'm really looking forward to this second book you got coming out. What do you think about the time frame is on that?
Oh, man, it's gonna take. We did this trailer it was this animated trailer. It was like expensive. It was also really time consuming. So Oren spent 9 months on it. We're not as far ahead on book. We're about. He's drawn 16 pages of the second one out of about 60. We have to color them. The long story short, I'm hoping to have an announcement by next year. If we can't get it out by next year,
there's no race. There's no race.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have something fantastic put in front of me than to say, it's I waited, but I could have got a In-N-Out hamburger. You know what I mean? Five Guys. I could have done Five Guys. Oh. So I mean, hey, I'm also. This one thing speaks to my mind. There's a Russian painter, Serov, and the best thing he ever painted was when he was 19. And so he spent the rest of his life chasing that. Yeah, it's Girl with a Peach. Yeah, and so that's very interesting to think about. That sometimes you never know when your zenith is going to come. So make it count. Make it fantastic.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. That's amazing. Yeah. This is the story.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, please.
No, go on.
Wordsworth. Yeah, William Wordsworth. He was going to write this great poem, and it was so great that he had to write a prelude to it. So he wrote the prelude, and the prelude was going to be the prelude to this great poem. But the prelude ended up being the great.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right. Yeah.
You never know what's going to catch fire with the audience. That's the wild thing. Like, you don't even know what could create the genuine desire. You just don't know. You just have to put it out there and then go on to the next thing. I was talking to Patrice Garcia, and he was the guy who did all the concept art for The Fifth Element, and he lives in France.
Okay.
And I was talking to him, and he said, I don't know why everybody loves my artwork. And I said, bro, because it's fantastic. All that concept work, all of that for The Fifth Element is fantastic, and it hit us all in the right time of frame where it just stood out so much. And he said, I can't wrap my head around it. And I said, well, it's because you were in the kitchen cooking. When you're cooking it, you're always trying to get that balance. You're trying to figure it out, trying to improve. So you lose sight of what everybody else sees when it just hits them all at once, and they're like, wow.
Yeah. It's so French too. I don't know. People like it. I don't understand. I mean, I like it. Okay.
That's what he said. That's what he said. He said, and he just now starting to get on social media, and he's going to make a book of a concept art and all that kind of stuff. But it's the same thing. Yeah. He's like, I think I'll make a book. People might like it. I think people might respond well to it. And I was like, yeah, they will.
I don't know. Man. France. I mean, I know. France. Okay, they have the French have their moments, man. They are like.
Oh no, 100%, 100%. But fantastic talking to you. I wanted to keep it under an hour so people could watch it. But The Band of the Crow, I'm going to put all the links down below. They can still back it, right? Is that right? Or purchase it?
Yeah. So go to thebandofthecrow.com. We are going to be firing up a campaign on Fund My Comic. Kickstarter shut down our campaign. Sort of with our approval. Technically, they had our approval. They really didn't. Doesn't matter. We're going to be starting a Fund My Comic campaign in the very near future. So, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And then people can go and get the book. And it's an awesome book. And great job, Arvid. Thanks for chatting with me, bro. I hope we talk a lot more in the future.
Oh, me too, man.
I'd love to pick your brain about food and about like some of that psychology that we talked about. But
psychology, food. My manifesto, my 937-page manifesto. It's all here.
Bro, I'm into it. So we'll do that. But thanks for stopping by for a chat, bro. I appreciate it. All right.
Thanks, Ray.